You're listening to the Signal Daily.
Hello, I'm Manaswini, your host for the Signal Daily podcast. This is the episode for 1st May 2024. First up, we are taking a look at the ongoing student protests at colleges and universities across the US, Canada, and parts of Europe. What are the reasons behind their demonstrations and what impact might they have? Listen in to find out yourself. And for the second story, we are talking about AstraZeneca finally admitting that its vaccines might have some rare side effects. Stick around till the end to get the lowdown on the details. A lot is happening across the world simultaneously, but let's take a few minutes to talk about the ongoing mass student protests that are being reported from colleges and universities in the US, Canada, and parts of Europe. Let's talk about why they are protesting and the impact of the crackdown on the student protesters. As Israel's assault on Gaza goes on for over 200 days now, anti-war student protests are getting louder in the West. Since October, there has been a wave of mostly peaceful demonstrations across various university campuses in the form of rallies, encampments, sit-in protests, and hunger strikes demanding an end to Israel's war in Gaza. Further, students have also been asking their educational institutes to cut financial ties with Israel and divest from those companies that are profiting from what they describe as an apartheid and genocide that has taken more than 31,000 Palestinian lives so far, including thousands of children. So, to talk about the divestment demand in more detail, well, if you look at the earnings of educational institutions, in addition to tuition fees and government grants, there are university endowments that are investable assets. These are donations that can be invested in a variety of assets, like stocks, bonds, private equity, etc. And the returns are often used to provide financial support for various programs like research grants or scholarships. So, for instance, the Harvard University Endowment, valued at $49.444 billion, is the largest academic endowment in the world as of June 30th, 2022. Now, essentially what pro-Palestine protesters are demanding is transparency, and they want universities to sell their holdings in companies that have ties to Israel so as to not be complicit in this war. So, for instance, students at Columbia are demanding divestment from big tech companies like Amazon and Google, which have cloud computing contracts with Israel's government. Stanford students want their admin to drop investment from Lockheed Martin, which is involved in arms manufacturing. However, as a BBC report points out, divesting is not so easily done as endowment portfolios are often managed by asset managers rather than the universities themselves, and this information is also pretty much protected. But what's especially been grabbing the headlines in the recent days are that university and college administrations are now cracking down on protesters. So just to give you some background on how this escalated, so on 18th April, at the behest of the college administration, New York police cleared encampments and arrested around 108 students protesting on Columbia's campus on allegations of violating university policies. Next came student suspensions, but far from deterring students, this move actually backfired and gave momentum to more protests within campuses that also found some support. Across prestigious universities in the US, students came together and built encampments to express solidarity with the arrested students, leading to clashes with the police and hundreds of arrests, detentions, and suspensions. This also spread to parts of Europe. Associated Press reported that the French police removed dozens of pro-Palestine protesters from the Sorbonne University. And in Canada, student protest camps were pitched at the University of Ottawa, McGill University in Montreal, and the University of British Columbia in Vancouver. But the impact of the crackdown could be doubly worse on foreign students who have participated in these protests. Their student visas and scholarships could be at risk, and in an interview with the Economic Times, Rahul Singh, managing director of Crafty Mobility, a company that provides immigration services, said, and I quote, "Governments across the globe are becoming stringent with regards to the visa regulations. In most countries, students arrested, charged, or convicted while participating in any kind of protest have been asked to leave immediately and their visas have been cancelled." End quote. So now with classes entering the final weeks of the semester, Some universities like Columbia are shifting to online classes, which has triggered more backlashes. But this is a developing story, and we'll be seeing more updates in the coming days. For our second segment, we are going to bring you deep dives on stories from the world of technology, business, policy, and anything that leaves you with food for thought. Remember those Covishield vaccine shots you took 2 years ago? Well, turns out those vaccines can cause some serious side effects. And it's not exactly surprising because vaccines do often produce side effects like fever, body aches, and a sore throat. But what sets this apart is that it's labeled as a quote-unquote rare side effect. Actually, let me give you a quick lowdown on what's exactly happening right now. So as a recent report from The Telegraph points out, AstraZeneca, the pharmaceutical company that partnered with the University of Oxford to create COVID-19 vaccines, has admitted in the code that its vaccine can result in rare side effects like TTS, which is thrombosis with thrombocytopenia syndrome, which basically means that the injection can cause, or rather caused, quote-unquote blood clots and low platelet count in patients. And in countries like India and other low and middle income nations, it was produced and distributed as Covishield by Serum Institute of India. But wait, how did we even get here? With AstraZeneca actually admitting this in court and possibly facing a quote-unquote multi-million pound legal payout? And how did a big pharmaceutical company end up owning to its mistake? So here's the thing. AstraZeneca faced multiple lawsuits after several patients were hospitalized due to blood clotting issues. In some instances, individuals even lost their lives as a result of these side effects. In fact, the first case was brought forward in 2023 by Jamie Scott, a father of 2, who suffered a permanent brain injury after experiencing a blood clot and brain bleed following his vaccination in April 2021. These complications have basically left him unable to work. In another case, Anish Taylor in the UK filed a lawsuit against AstraZeneca in the London's High Court on August 4, 2023. This case followed the death of his wife in March 2021 after she received her first dose of the vaccine. And so far, according to the Telegraph report, AstraZeneca is facing up to 51 lawsuits in the High Court, with victims seeking compensation totaling as much as £100 million. Additionally, in a vaccine safety study conducted by the Global Vaccine Data Network, another side effect was found: acute disseminated encephalomyelitis, which causes inflammation and swelling in the brain and spinal cord. Even this condition was associated with the AstraZeneca vaccine. Also, a study from Britain's Office of National Statistics last year found that there were 6 cardiac-related deaths per 100,000 young women who had received at least 1 dose of the vaccine in the country. Basically, this suggests that AstraZeneca's vaccine carried a higher risk for young women. Although the pharma company acknowledges rare side effects, the company also disagrees with claims of widespread vaccine issues or exaggeration of its effectiveness. On the other hand, though, research shows that AstraZeneca vaccine has been actually quite effective in fighting the pandemic, reportedly saving over 6 million lives worldwide in the first year of its use. Plus, the World Health Organization has given it the green light as safe and effective for anyone aged 18 and older, highlighting that the rare side effects prompting legal action are indeed quote-unquote very rare. But it's not only AstraZeneca facing scrutiny. Last year, German pharmaceutical company BioNTech encountered numerous lawsuits in the country seeking nearly €1 million. The legal action stemmed from the allegations of health issues like heart arrhythmia and cognitive difficulties associated with the COVID-19 vaccine developed through the partnership with the American pharmaceutical powerhouse Pfizer. So clearly, people are holding Big Pharma accountable. Yet, experts emphasize that pinpointing rare side effects contributes to the improvement of vaccines. For instance, Professor Julie Lesk, a vaccine specialist at the University of Sydney, told The Guardian, and I'm quoting her verbatim, "Being confident in a system that will detect problems and address them is a very important part of the robust vaccination program." End quote. If you like listening to The Signal Daily, please show us some support. Rate us and review us on Apple Podcasts and Spotify. We'd love to hear what you have to say about this podcast. So feel free to shoot an email at hello@thesignal.co. The episode was researched, written, and produced by Shorbri and me, Manaswini. Edited by Venkat Anand, mastered and mixed by Yash Hirve. You can catch this podcast every morning on Spotify, Apple, Amazon Prime Music, Google Podcasts, or wherever you listen to your podcasts. We are thesignal.co on Instagram, LinkedIn, and Twitter.